Hello, everyone. Welcome to the weekly webinar. This has been organized for QuickSight customers to learn about product functionalities, new feature launches, best practices, and tips on how to improve their user experience and gain technical knowledge from QuickSight solution architects and product managers. In today's learning series session, we'll be discussing on how to automate paginated report generation using new reporting APIs. My name is Neeraj Kumar, and I'm a QuickSight Solution Architect here at AWS. I also have my colleague Salim Khan, who will be presenting with me today. And we also have Basi Mehta, who will be moderating the webinar and responding to the questions you'll be posting in the community. Let me brief you about our community, as I mentioned. So to know where do you go if you have questions about QuickSight. So QuickSight community is a one-stop shop for all your BI journey. Here you can connect with other QuickSight users and is the first place you should look for answers to your questions. You can search for answers and ask new questions, connect with other users, and find new resources. We also post all the latest announcements, be it blogs or events and other learning resources, including many examples created by me and my colleagues in our Demo Central sections. Not to miss our weekly online learning series scheduled every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, and Thursday we are doing it at 10 a.m. Central European time. Besides that, we also have a monthly online events, which is like First Friday focusing on new features, and on second and third Wednesday we are doing immersion days. And every fourth Thursday of a month, we also have a Q&A sessions with our experts. So if you haven't done so already, it would be a great time now to join the community and bookmark it for any of your future references. You can log into community.amazonquicksite.com. Once you are on the QuickSight community page, here is what the Q&A section looks like. You can search at the top, and if you don't find an immediate answer, you can post a new questions. And you do need an ID to post for the first time, and this will require an Amazon.com login. And to make sure our experts on this live session get you an answer quickly, you can use the hashtag as it's on the top. It's QLS-reporting-APIs, and we'll be prioritizing these questions all day long. And definitely today's session will be recorded, and we will have this posted to our YouTube channel and community by the end of the week. Now it's time to talk about the agenda. We will start with the introduction to Amazon QuickSight. In case if you are a beginner to QuickSight and you are not familiar with that, we wanted to provide you a out-of-the-box QuickSight, what it provides you. We'll talk about the paginated reports, which is a component within QuickSight. We'll discuss about the business use case for our today's session, and then we'll go deeply into the snapshot APIs, which is a talking point for today's discussion. We'll describe what these APIs are, how the definition looks like, and then finally we'll showcase you a quick demo, which Salim will showcase through the CLI and through using the APIs, how you can create a script and execute and see the outcomes. And lastly, we'll touch upon a few references. Starting with Amazon QuickSight. So QuickSight is a unified BI service in a cloud. It can enable BI for everyone in the organization that needs them in the format that they want. And Amazon QuickSight offers BI at any scale, or we would like to call it hyperscale. So you can bring data from anywhere. You can connect to all your data wherever it is. QuickSight is natively integrated with AWS data sources, as well as on-prem and hosted databases and third-party business applications. After you connect to data, you can then leverage QuickSight's proprietary high-performance data engine with Spice. We've called Spice. It's a super fast in-memory calculation engine, which can escalate performance, or you can also run directly against their data sources. And you can combine multiple data sources within QuickSight's data layer to get a complete view or holistic view across the data. With that, you can create a powerful analytics. So QuickSight's analytics layer enables historical analysis, automated built-in machine learning insights that come out of the box. You can leverage our forecasting and anomaly capabilities within QuickSight. And also you can bring your own model and you can create them in the SageMaker and integrate with SageMaker, which is our machine learning service. And once you get the models, you can do any analysis or you can do any trending on top of that. It's all intuitive, easy to use UI-based workflows. These insights can be delivered to everyone in a multiple ways. You can do it through the interactive dashboards, or you can create a dashboard or a visual embedding in any applications of your choice. You can bring it to your enterprise portals. Also, you can do a natural language query through our QuickSight queue, and you can even build the paginated reports, which you are going to talk today, and to meet all your BI needs across all the users. Now, whether you want to deliver these modern BI across your organizations, or you want to migrate and consolidate your BI stack, or you want to embed analytics in your applications and products, or you want to build entirely a new data products, Amazon QuickSight helps you activate the intelligence across all your users, be it internal and external, any kind of a use cases. Now, as we know about QuickSights, let's talk about our QuickSight paginated reports. So this is a feature in QuickSight which allows you to start creating and sharing customized and paginated documents. So with paginated reporting in the cloud, you can enable and deliver highly formatted reports, report scale within your users' inboxes. And these reports can be scheduled for delivery. You can have them as a PDF, you can have our Excel and a CSV reports. It can help deprecate legacy reporting systems and consolidate dashboards and reporting use cases cost efficiently. Users in your enterprise can view the same source of truth across dashboards and reports, and they do not have to decide between them, thus unifying the authoring and consumptions with no new learning. Paginated report is a serverless and auto scale, like the rest of the QuickSight is. There's no need of any infrastructure or software management. And with pay for usage and consumption-based pricing and providing the auto archival up to 1 year, you can also allow the users to access the report snapshots on demand. They can get into QuickSight paginated reports and they can access already executed reports. Now, let's talk about using these APIs or the paginated reports. What are the business case you can adopt to? So you can implement your business and generate reports for your enterprise solutions. And there are two ways you can do. One is like you can create a web application where you can provide all the filters and all the controls, and the users can come in and they can select, let's say they wanted to select a particular region, territory, and they wanted to submit and get that report created. So it can serve the on-demand generation as well using these set of CLIs or APIs. You can create, do the on-demand generation as well from your web application. That's one first use case. And the second would be you wanted to set up a batch generation. You can create a script and that can execute at certain point of time. It could be a daily or weekly reports you wanted to generate. And these can be a daily sales report. You can have an insurance claims. Let's say you wanted to send out the invoices to your territory managers or the regional managers every day in the morning. Or it could be a financial statements where these can be created and can be sent out to all the stakeholders, auditors, controllers, whoever regulates those reports. And through the batch generations, you can serve that. So these are the two use cases that you can achieve them using the paginated reports APIs. Now let's talk about what these APIs are, and we call it as a new snapshot export APIs, which has recently been launched in end of July. And to start with the new APIs, the very first one is a start dashboard snapshot job. What it does, it starts an asynchronous job and would generate the reports for a dashboard. You can, in a one API call, basically you can request up to 5 CSV reports for your table or pivot table visuals, or you can have one Excel workbook, or you can have also a one paginated PDF report. Once you initiate, when your request is initiated, right, through the API, your snapshot job runs. And you wanted to describe and you wanted to know the status and the configuration of this particular snapshot job generated with a start dashboard snapshot job API, the first one we talked about. You can always go with the describe one. So it will give you the status and configuration. And finally, after you describe that, you wanted to, let's say you wanted to describe the results of a completed snapshot job. You wanted to take a look at the snapshot, like which particular bucket these reports has been written, or what is the pre-signed URL looks like, and what are the filters being applied. You wanted to see the result of these ones. So if let's say the job is not finished running, the operation would return a message that the dashboard or the snapshot job with the ID has not reached the terminal state. And if it is created, it will show you the result and outcome of it, which will showcase you through the examples as part of a demo shortly. So these are the three key APIs we are going to talk about. Now, let's discuss on how you can automate the generation of these reports using these APIs. And let's say you wanted to put in the batch job script, right? So the very first thing you would do is let's say you create a script, and within that you will import the Boto3 libraries. You will initiate the session with a specific role that can call the API operations. And once your QuickSight session has been created, very first thing you would do is you will retrieve the list of region or parameters that you are looking for. In this one scenario, what we are trying to do is, for this particular use cases, we wanted to generate a profit and loss statement, right? For all the, let's say there are 4 regions. So we wanted to list all the regions for which this report has to execute. And then we'll put that we'll initiate the for loop, and we'll read one at a time the region. And that will pass, using the start dashboard snapshot job API, will pass it in as one of the inputs to that. So you need to pass your account ID, you need to pass the dashboard ID, you need to give the unique snapshot job ID name, you need to specify the user configuration, like what are the filters and everything gets required, and the snapshot configuration where this outcome is going to save, right? Once you provide all that, it will execute for each and every region. So let's say there are 4 regions, so 4 times you can make a call to that API, and it can execute that, right? Once the job is complete, then you can basically make a call to a describe dashboard job, snapshot job, and you can describe the status of it. If it is marked as completed, you can exit the process. Means your script has successfully generated the profit and loss statement for all the 4 regions, and it will mark as completed. If not, it will go through into the process, right? And when the report outcome is generated, it can be stored in the S3 destination path, or also it can provide you a pre-signed S3 URL, and we'll see how it looks like when it gets stored into the S3 destination path. Now, the one example, while you create the automated these scripts or through the CLI, one key thing you require is the input file. And one of the example could be like, let's say, for example, you have a anonymous embedding, you are doing it, or you have an anonymous tag already part of your data set. You can leverage those session tags, which has been created already. And then you can pass those session tag as part of your input file, right? So you would need an account ID. You can set up which particular dashboard has your report, and you can specify your unique snapshot job ID. And this is something you can create it, and we'll showcase like how you can do. And then user configuration is the one. Like in this case, I wanted to use a session tag, and my session tags are region, and I can pass what the key value is and what my session tag is, and what my corresponding value is. So in this case, I wanted to create a report, pageant report for a region D002, right? So I can leverage the session tag. I can specify in my snapshot configuration, like what particular sheet has that report, right? So your report has always, it could be a part of the dashboard where you have created a dashboard with let's say 3 different tabs, and 2 of them are interactive dashboards and 1 is a paginated report. You can take that particular sheet ID and put that in. Since you are going with the format type, you can plugin provide the selection scope as all visuals. In case of CSV and Excel, you can specify the selected visuals, and you can specify those selected visuals that you wanted to generate the report for. In the destination configuration, here in this example, I wanted to give the destination path because I wanted to save these reports as the outcomes are created. I want to save them into the S3 bucket. And this is what I can provide my bucket name. I can provide my bucket prefix, what it looks like. Like in this case, it's an income statement, and I wanted to dynamically create, like when it is created for a particular year, I can pass that, and I can specify for which region it is for, right? I can create that using, this is how you do it through the session tag as you apply all that in the user configuration. The next example is like scenario could be like you can use a report filters. So let's say you don't have a session tag, and that could be one scenario where you will have a parameters already part of your report. And you can use those report parameters to create those report instances, or you can generate these reports for. So in this example, I wanted to generate for this particular, let's say in this example, I'm taking the West as a region. I want to generate the report for West region for a particular month or year, right? So I can pass my parameters as my part of my parameter sections. In this case, I don't have a session tag, right? I can pass that. This is how I can pass. And then in the snapshot configuration, I can again very well state what is the sheet ID, whether I'm going for the PDF, I can state all visuals. If it is CSV or Excel, I can specify selected visuals, and I can set the destination path. Now, there could be other scenarios, like it could be a combination of your user configuration and parameters. And let's say you have region as part of your session tags, and you have just the closing month you want to pass as a parameter. It could be that could be another scenario. And lastly, it could be as possible that you don't have any parameters or session tag, and you wanted to generate the report as such, completely a report. So those are the scenarios that you will consider while you create this input file. Now with that, now let me hand it over to Salim to demo the CLI and scripts and report outcomes. Over to you, Salim.
Thank you, Neeraj. Right. So as Neeraj mentioned, we have two ways that you can generate the snapshot APIs, one through the CLI and one through the API. We quickly do a demo of the CLI option first. So we'll look at the three APIs that Neeraj mentioned, right? That is required to basically run the CLI command. The first one is the start dashboard snapshot.api call, right? So you pass in the input JSON file that Neeraj just showed. So we'll be doing two use cases, one with the anonymous use case, which will be doing through the CLI, and then I'll be doing a parameter based, which will be demoed through the Bodo3 library and the API calls. So once we start the job, then we basically query the describe the dashboard snapshot.api to find out what the status of the job is, right? And finally get the output by using the result API call, right? So let me quickly jump onto my console. So for this, I have created two sample dashboards, one with the session tags. Quickly walk you through what this report looks like. So this is, again, my income statement, P&L statement that Neeraj was referencing in the workflow. We'll be generating this for different regions, right? So you see all my visuals are not accessible since I have row level security implemented and I have session tags implemented in it, right? So for each of those session tags that I pass, a snapshot will be generated for this particular report. So how do I configure the RLS, right? To do a quick view of what my data set looks like, I have this data set which I've built that report of. In that data set, I have enabled tag-based rules, right? So the JSON input file has these parameters which are listed. So I have the session tags. For this one, I have my region number as my column, and my tag key that I need to pass is my region, right? So this becomes a part of my JSON input file to the CLI command. Okay, let me quickly switch over to Cloud Shell, show you a sample of how this is run. Okay, so the first job for the API call that I'll run is the start dashboard snapshot job. I have the JSON file already loaded into QuickSight, so that my reporting demo RLS is already loaded. Let me run this. Okay. So see, as soon as we run this start dashboard, you'll get a status of 200, which means it is successful. It'll give you the ARN, and I have configured this snapshot job ID, which is reporting API demo 1. This job ID should be unique for 24 hours. You can reuse it after 24 hours, right? So once this start dashboard job is kicked off, now we need to check the status of how my job is running, right? So I'll run the second command, which is describe dashboard snapshot job. And I have my information. I know my job ID is the one. Okay. And then you'll see that it gives you all the configuration that was passed. Okay. And then if I go down, it should give me the status of what the job is. You can see the job status is running. So it's running asynchronously behind the scenes. And once you get a status of complete, you can run the result and you can check the S3 bucket that was specified as part of the configuration and where it gets stored, right? So this is the first scenario. In the second scenario, instead of using my session tags, I have my financial report, which is based off parameters, right? So since I don't have row level security enabled on this particular data set, you see all my data is visible in the analysis, right? In this use case, I'll be generating the reports for a particular closing month and for a particular region, right? So I have these two parameters created on my analysis, right? And once I publish dashboard, these two parameters are available for the snapshot job APIs to consume, right? So I have my region and I have my closing month, these two parameters as part of my analysis, right? So now switching over to my notebook, I have a sample Jupyter notebook that I've created that runs all these commands one after the other, right? So I start off by running importing all the libraries. I make sure that my environment variable format data path is set correctly, which has my most current libraries. Then I will set in all these parameters. This can be part of a session also. These parameters can come from a configuration file, right? So I have my account ID. I give my report dashboard name, the dashboard ID, and the sheet ID, right? I do need a role that has permissions to run APIs for QuickSight. And also, if you're writing it in S3 bucket, you need proper roles or policies implemented there too, right? And my source region is US East 1. I'm going to run this API for 4 different regions, right? You can do it for a number of regions. Okay, currently for the demo, I'm just running it for 4 different regions. And my year is specified as 2022. I do have a prefix to that so that next time I want to run it for a different year, it automatically generates the bucket for me. After I set all the parameters, I am creating my token client, right? The Board3 client that I have. From the Board3 client, I initiate a session. Okay, once the session is done, okay, I create a QuickSight client for me to use to run all these APIs. Once I have a handle to the QuickSight client, you can see that this is where all the looping happens, right? So I will be looping through all the regions that I have in my list currently, right? And it will call this snapshot, starts dashboard snapshot job with all the necessary parameters, right? And then it provides a S3 destination that it will dump all the files into currently, okay? And for each iteration, it will pass in the region and the year parameter that will get that the report will get generated for, right? So once this is run, we can check the status, like how we're checking the status in CLI. Okay, the described dashboard snapshot job will give you the status. You can keep looping through. Right now, I can see my 4 jobs are running synchronously, and the status is running. Right, you keep on checking for the status, and once the status is complete, all right, that's when we can go and take a look at the S3 buckets and how it's generated, right? So for the time I've generated these reports and kept it on my bucket, quickly switch over to my bucket to show how it looks like, right? So this reports were generated using the CLI commands. You can see my income statement that is generated, right? So the report has a unique ID. It will give you the dashboard name along with a unique ID that it generates by itself. Now, if we need to change this name, that's what the second workflow is. Basically, we will have to get a handle to the S3 API calls, right? And this part of the program basically does that. It modifies the name to give it a proper name, like a region name and a year prefix to it. So I loop through all of these different files, create a copy of this in S3, rename it, okay, and then we can remove the old file that was there, right? This actually gives a proper name to my files that I can easily refer to and look back at, right? So once the renaming is done, you'll see that my income statements that have been generated for the year, this was the prefix that I specified. All these reports have been generated with the proper name instead of the unique name that QuickSight had provided, right? So to take a sample, look at what that looks like. I can download the report from here. Okay, I quickly take a look at how my report got generated, right? So this is a sample report that this got generated for a particular combination. So all my regions have run and the reports have been generated, right? Okay, let me quickly switch back to my presentation. Okay. So this is the flow of the second part that I demoed, right? And how when you have something stored in an S3 bucket, how you can basically version and catalog and archive it for future reference also. Okay. This is a simple sample architecture that we've used to generate the financial statements. We extract the data from different data sources and run a small pipeline through Glue to prepare the data and load it into Redshift, and then build the reports in QuickSight, and then call the APIs to generate a report in an S3 bucket. Okay, with that, we conclude the presentation for today. If you are not part of the QuickSight community, you can scan this QR code and join the community. We have all the latest information out there. Okay, and just for references, we'll be posting this as part of the video that will be uploaded on the QuickSight community. These references will be available out there too, right? You can actually go ahead and take a look at all of these different resources that you have for your use. We actually have a blog that we recently written, which describes in detail everything that we showcased today. And it has a lot more information that you can reuse if you have use cases that require snapshot export APIs. Okay, and stay tuned for the next sessions for the series that we have, which is the identity management with AWS IAM Identity Center, which is on September 5th Pacific time and on Thursday, September 7th Central European time. Right. With that, we conclude the learning series for today. Thank you all for joining in, and please post your questions if you have more questions on the community, and we'll answer them out there in the community itself. Thank you all.
Thank you, Salim. And everyone, I've posted those links, like you can post your questions on the topic there. You can also refer the blog. I have put that link also in the chat, and the documentation around the Paginated reports. You can refer all these. You can take a copy of these ones, and we'll also be, as Salim has called it out, we'll be adding it to our YouTube channel as well.